Okay, this video actually is multi-purpose. It's being constructed specifically for the owner, but it's also being constructed specifically as a redress for a video that appeared on a dog training list that I frequent on Facebook. The video involved a mature adult male bully breed mix of some sort in a shelter environment who was selectively aggressive or selectively reactive with one of the individuals that was participating in this event. It was a room full of people observing this, and we got a boo.
Oh my.
So let's focus on me instead. So it was a room full of people that an individual was trying to instruct on how to handle a reactive dog. And essentially, although what he was saying was, in line with current philosophies, some of the things that occurred in the video were, I don't necessarily consider to be, for lack of a better term, appropriate for that situation. This was a dog who had had absolutely no training or foundation work whatsoever, put in an environment that created a degree of arousal and suspicion to begin with a novice handler on the leash, inappropriate equipment on the dog, and one of the other participants was a woman, apparently a tech or a shelter worker or something, that basically was doing things that were relatively inappropriate as far as trying to reduce the dog's level of arousal, and instead what she ended up doing was create higher levels of suspicion. Now this dog, Autumn, sit, easy, ready? Okay. She's pretty highly food motivated. She's a 4-year-old Rottweiler mix. The other domestic is unclear. She is selectively, what's a good word? She is selectively frustrated with certain types of people. There's no rhyme or reason to when she reacts, and she is very dog reactive, especially on leash. She's owned by a young couple. They've had her for approximately 3 years. Apparently prior to that, she was a rescue dog or they acquired her from a rescue or something, I'm not sure. But this is behavior that she's engaged in pretty much her entire life. And as you can see, she's got quite a bit of opposition reflex, and she's really aroused right now because it's a beautiful day here in Westminster, Maryland, and the scents are running like crazy. The cool thing about her is she's pretty highly food motivated, which works, so we're going to be using that. And essentially what this videotape is going to introduce to us are things that I would do, since it was a specific request. Come here, Pumpkin. Aw, easy, easy. Good, easy. Thank you. Good girl. To get a dog that was like the dog in the video to accommodate the presence of a stranger. Now this is my yard. I don't have a room full of people. I'm not particularly concerned about that because this is what I would do. One, I would never put a dog like that in a room like that and put it in the hands of a bunch of novice people while I sat there and casually looked on. The first thing I would do, and especially with this dog, because she doesn't really have the ability to create strong emotional attachments with people. And what I want to do for the most part is teach her that not only am I not to be feared or concerned about, because this is one of my first times on the leash with her, but basically I'm the harbinger of good things. Now she is wearing an e-collar. She's going home with e-collar conditioning, and essentially the first thing we do is we actually start finding what the working level of the collar is. And having never worn one, we start out at 0. This is a Dogtra 1902 Field Star. It's a 2-dog unit, and she's working on the orange buttons. The orange collar equals the orange button. And all I'm doing basically is I'm tapping, like you see me do, good girl, 1,001 times, and giving her easy. Very nice. Okay, and releasing her. So the appropriate response to the pressure would be return to the handler. Instead of pulling on the leash, if you notice, I maintain a fixed position. I'm going to draw the dog to me simply by applying pressure with the collar. We're now at about a 13. I'm not going to give her any commands because she doesn't know any commands. Good girl! Sit. And I'm going to basically prove to her, yes, the value of paying attention to me. So, in an environment where she feels threatened, I'm not going to yank on the leash to pull her away. All I'm going to do is tap on the collar in order to teach her that the resource that she can count on is predicated on her response to that pressure. And again, this is the foundation for all the training that we do. So when we put her in situations where she is compromised, she knows how to make an appropriate choice. Good girl. Here. Sit. Very nice. Now there, because she is pretty clever, easy. Good. Okay. And she grasps things relatively quickly. As she's coming in, I'm going to capture her focus. There's big birds behind her. I don't know if Peter can pick up the camera. But this is the kind of reactivity. Good girl. This is the kind of reactivity her owners have been getting from her when she is met with strangers on walks or sees other dogs. Now, I'm not tapping there. Sit. Good girl. And basically I was just letting her run through. Okay. I was letting her run through that. There's two buzzards. They're relatively close, and that's what she's focusing on. So all I'm doing is tapping. Good girl. Sit. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Easy with the fingers there, sweetheart. I love my hands. Okay. And release it. So you can see, in a situation where you have a dog that's that easily aroused over the wind blowing or the presence of something really foreign in the environment, it's not about wrestling them out of it. It's about preconditioning them, good girl, to respond in an appropriate way. And in this case, it's a collar, chain training collar, and an e-collar on a very low level setting. This is a level 13 out of 127. Good. Sit. Now the buzzards have gone. Easy. Thank you. Okay. And she's pretty much a little bit more focused and back to work. And basically, this is a dog who for quite a while apparently was on a prong collar, which essentially increased her reactivity level. So we're lowering that. I'm not making any expectations for this dog. I'm not tapping. Good girl. But essentially what she's already learned, good, is that right now I have a pretty intrinsic value. And I keep prefacing giving her the treat with easy because she is a little mouthy. Good girl. Okay. Good pup. And again, not tapping. I'll put the e-collar in my pocket. So essentially, in that 5 minutes, what this dog has learned, good girl, is when she feels even a light pressure, good. It means to respond to the handler. Okay. Very good. The reason this carries over so successfully in other work is because now all of a sudden we get a dog who isn't that interested in acquiring space, but a dog who is willing to work within the confines of the pressure that's put upon it. And here I am tapping again at 13. I'm not applying direct pressure with the leash. going to mark good. When she turns towards me, I'm going to continue to tap when she turns away. Because now the lesson must become, when I apply pressure, you respond to it. Good girl. Very nice. You got goopy eyes. You gotta wipe them eyeballs. Yes. Yes, we do. Good. Okay. Woohoo. Set it. Woohoo. Now the interesting thing about this dog, she doesn't really have a strong emotional attachment to either my husband or myself. She's basically pretty emotionally indifferent. She loves the outdoors. Here. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Relax. Relax. Good girl. But pairing the things that she likes, okay, with the things that she's basically been reluctant to do in an environment that I control is going to help her to understand, here, good, sit, that when she's faced with really, really adverse situations, to respond appropriately. Easy. Good. Okay. Now, later on, good girl. The buzzer just went up overhead. I intervened with the pressure on the collar. She's still scanning the skies for him. Good girl. And I'm disrupting the behavior without being part of the disruption. The indirect, good girl, here. The indirect pressure from the e-collar, which is now at a 17, yes, which is still lower than when I can feel it physically, is enough to interrupt the behavior, good girl, and reward her for an appropriate choice. So when she sees the next buzzer, good girl, which they're still around here, even though I'm not dead yet, good girl, yeah, very nice. E-collar's on, okay, good, sit, good girl, very nice. We got a fox or something up there screaming, you hear it? Up in the woods. Somebody got something. Could just be the whistling in my infected ear too. Okay. Good girl. So we've established a catch release. Basically I tell her okay, she's free to move away. Here. Good. Giving her the signals that I've pre-programmed. Here. Good. And even with the buzzard overhead, she understands. Yes, okay. Now again, this dog has had no prior work with me on, oh honey, I'm sorry. Come here, sweetheart. Relax. You're okay. She just accidentally got pegged in the eye with the collar, or with the snap on the leash. Sit. Ready? Ready? Oh, you missed. It's over there. And basically, it took her a total of about 7 to 10 minutes to figure out that motion activated by me is far more worthwhile to pay attention to by using just very nominal direct pressure with the leash and very nominal indirect pressure with the e-collar. So you were at least able to view the fact that, you know, I wasn't talking out my butt about her being a reactive dog. She is. As you can see, she's still scanning the skies, but over the course of a couple of minutes, it didn't take too long to get her to figure out it wasn't nothing but a bird, and that an appropriate response to pressure indicated something that she would be rewarded for automatically. Here. Good. Sit. Good.